This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast, where business leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 7 minutes or less because successful business leaders are busy and rarely have more time to spare. So let's get to it. Question number 1, in a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Well, hello, Pete. Pleasure to be here. My name is Troy Hilsenroth, and I have the fortunate pleasure of being the CEO of Biolog-ID, LLC.
Excellent. And question number 2, what's the best thing about working in your industry, Troy?
Well, Pete, working in healthcare, it brings many challenges and rewards. When the output of our effort really has a positive impact on patients and providers, really that's where I think, that's where we derive a lot of intrinsic value.
I understand that. Question number 3. I hear from other business leaders that staying in a good work-life balance for them and their team members is a challenge. What are your thoughts?
I'll tell you, with the 24/7 connectivity, with all the technology, it is difficult to carve out, but while it's difficult, it's vital. It's very tough to be good at your job when you don't have things locked down either at home or with the rest of your life. So really, we stress, any organization that I've been with, we stress family first, or that work-life balance. Don't get me wrong, there'll be times when you need to grind and work some long hours, but definitely that balance for longevity, it's going to be vital.
Absolutely, that's great advice. Question number 4, what other successful business leaders like yourself should be on my podcast?
You know, Pete, a couple people come to my mind that you would probably have access to. I think maybe even Danny Sanchez at Omnicell. He now runs the Population Health Solutions division. He might be a good addition to your podcast.
Great idea. I'll reach out to Danny. Thank you for that. Yeah. Question number 5. What insight or advice would you give to other business leaders?
Well, just in general, I think, you need to bring perspective to not only your organization, but even to yourself. I draw upon a lot of perspective from all the other positions that I've had. And one in particular, Pete, but your viewers, I used to be a professional firefighter at one point in Cleveland, Ohio, and actually was even elected to be to the executive board to run the union. And I'll tell you, this all summed up. I was in a revenue meeting at a publicly traded company that I used to work for, and around quarter end, things get stressful. Really stressful. And I remember after the call, my boss, he's like, Troy, you're always so calm. You didn't seem really stressed out. And I was like, well, I explained that my old job, being a firefighter, you have to bring your own atmosphere to work, to breathe. The threat of death is always imminent. So yes, revenue is very important, especially in a publicly traded company. And but at the end of the day, no one was going to die. Maybe get fired, but no one was going to die. And it gives you that perspective, Pete. That helped me. It helps me to this day have gratitude towards where we're at. And if your team exhibits those things, it'll be a blessing. So that would be, just bring perspective and understand where we're at in your life and how this all fits into a bigger picture.
Especially the fact that being a former firefighter, I can only imagine, the stress that you must have been under at different points for that particular position.
It was they explain that stress is like a bucket, right? You see things that most people most people in the public will never experience and see. I'll tell you, there was coping mechanisms that you had, but I'll tell you, anything with kids, that was, to this day, I'll still wake up once a month about a run or something and like a cold sweat, it sticks with you. And it's, and there's positives and negatives to that. So, but yes, you're right.
Wow. And question number 6, Troy, tell me about your first job.
Pete, my first job, I think, would be illegal today. I was like 10 years old, and there was a strawberry farm where I used to live that in the summertime would drive. There would be a big pickup truck, and that truck would stop at a corner, like in the neighborhood, and all these kids would then climb into the pickup truck, the bed of the back of the pickup truck, which I think someone would be immediately arrested nowadays if you're driving a pickup truck with little kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to the strawberry farm, and we would pick strawberries, and it was piecework. For every basket of strawberries that you picked, you would get, I want to say, 25 cents. So there was some sort of productivity component with it. And so that was my very first entree into the working world around 10 years old. So.
Oh my goodness. Great memories. Thank you, Troy, for being on the show. How can people find you?
They could find me at www.biolog-ID.com.
Excellent. This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast. For more insights and ideas, please go to linkedin.com and search for Winning at Business and Life podcast. Thanks for listening.